That bad feeling you have is a lot more sinister than you think. Now, guys, the bad feeling thing, it's there, right? It's not going to go anywhere. I don't think it's going to get any better, at least not anytime soon. Now, there's a couple reasons for it, right? There's the inner bad feeling that we have, almost like an impending doom, right? It's something that we can't shake. It is something that's been growing in us for quite some time. And like I said, the 9/11 bad feeling, that's sort of what we have going on. At least that's what it feels like to me. I recognize it, right? But with 9/11, that lasted a couple of years till the day happened, and then the bad feeling subsided, right? Then it was gone. This bad feeling we have just seemingly getting stronger, which now I'm under the impression that this bad feeling is way worse than 9/11 because it's going on for so long and it's getting stronger. I have this bad feeling that it's going to be something, like I said before, going to shock and scare the world. But the sinister bad feeling is something that somebody mentioned, and then I looked into it and I'm like, why didn't I see that? Why didn't I recognize it? But apparently, guys, this anxiety state that they're keeping us in, right? Because if you look at the news, since the Mr. 19 event, since COVID, if you looked at the news, they are trying to scare you with everything under the sun. I mean, every little thing now is like, oh my God, what is this? This is going to happen? Is that going to kill me? And people are just flipping out about everything. There are things that we're not flipping out about, that the normies are flipping out about. And there are other things that we're looking at and people are just like going down the rabbit hole way too far. With the sinister anxiety effect that I am 1,000%, not 1,000% sure, I'm sure, right? Or a million times sure, or a million% sure, excuse me, that this is all manufactured, every last bit of it. So the higher state of anxiety they keep you in, first of all, time seems to travel fast, right? As they've done studies in this, stating that the more anxious you are, the perception of time travels pretty fast. All right. The other thing, too, with keeping you at a high state of anxiety is it keeps your cortisol levels high. Your cortisol levels high weakens everything else in your body, makes you sick, damages your brain. It does a lot of things when you stay in the red or black for a long period of time. And again, because it's man-made and because they're scaring you with everything, they keep us at a high anxiety level. Now, for the most part, a lot of the things I'm not even worried about, nor do I care. In fact, some things that I do miss that I should talk about on the Angryprepper channel, I just don't because I don't give a shit. But you guys will mention it or remind me, and I'm like, all right, I'll look into it. For example, the Mr. 19 cicada variant. They're talking about this now and how it's growing, and doctors and scientists are concerned. Whatever, dude. Then you have ticks. Now, an article came out a week ago or 2 weeks ago maybe about the tick problem this year is going to be really bad. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? We've had a cold winter, like a really cold winter, and for about a week or so. But apparently now they're like, well, it's still going to be bad. The colder the season, the less ticks you have, because obviously cold affects these ticks which are in the ground, and some of them are buried deeper than others. But nonetheless, they're saying we're going to have a bad season. Lo and behold, farmers are stating that they're seeing boxes of ticks being dropped off at their crops, or near their crops, excuse me. And then the company, Pfizer, is coming out with a Lyme disease arm ticket. Coincidentally, it's coming out, if I'm not mistaken, later this year. Again, trying to keep your anxiety levels up, right? So they talk about the war in Iran, people's anxiety up, food shock or food disruption or food shortage, keeping your anxiety up, oil shortage, keeping your anxiety up. Everything is keeping your anxiety up. Some people's anxiety were up because of the whole Bachelorette and whether that was going to get canceled or not, and now that's canceled. So they seemingly, guys, find the trigger to keep your anxiety up so that you stay in the red or black, depending on how far or how high you're up, keeping your cortisol level up, keeping you from sleeping, which all of it damages you in the long run. That is the more sinister bad feeling that we're having. It's the anxiety level that's manufactured by man or the media or mainstream media, excuse me, and they keep you there. They keep you up here all the time. That is why so many people are complaining about not sleeping. That's why so many people are always sick. It seems like you sneeze on somebody now, they're dying of AIDS. It's like we're just high strung, or the human race is. Me, I'm getting back to the I don't give a fuck level. But because I'm getting back to that level, I'm missing a lot of things that I should be talking about on here. So I'm learning to do both. I'm learning not to give a fuck. And then when you guys mention something, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to look into it. All right. So nonetheless, guys, we have to get our stress levels down, because the other thing is they want us to die young and early, right? Again, the higher your stress levels are, stroke, heart issues develop from that. When you stay at a high anxiety rate, you are always tired. And a lot of you guys, I'm tired all the time. I got to take a nap. I'm lethargic. All this crazy shit. Listen, your diet plays a huge role. Sleeping plays a huge role. But if you are anxious all the time, your diet turns to shit and you sleep like garbage, and then it affects you on the long run. In the long run, excuse me. Your cortisol levels stay high, then you don't sleep, you eat like shit, and then you're sick. You get where this is going? So this manufactured shit is what's going to kill a lot of you guys in the long run. Again, I'm almost back to the state of not giving a shit. I'm like, whatever happens in front of me, I'll react to it then. Are a lot of things worth talking about? Absolutely. For a content reason and conversation reason, a lot of the issues that are going on are worth talking about. But we shouldn't be scared, nervous, or anything else in between. We should be ready to rock and roll no matter what happens. That is the state you need to stay in. You need to stay in the I don't give a fuck stage. I'll react when it happens. That's what we need to bring it back to. And that's why we prepare, right? It's like driving your car. At some point, the longer you drive, the more you're on the road, you're going to get into an accident. That is without fail. Some might be fatal, some might not be. Nonetheless, we don't get scared and then not get in our car. We get in anyway. Why? Because we need to do it. Well, that's why we prepare. We prepare because we know something's going to happen, but we also want to last or see how the story ends on the back end. That's why a lot of us prepare. And a lot of us also prepare because we don't want our kids to starve. We don't want to starve. And we want to get through this curveball that the elites are trying to throw us. And at this point right now, we're doing pretty good at dodging their bullshit. But at some point, they're going to absolutely drop the hammer. And when that hammer drops, that's when things get scary. That's when things get alarmingly concerning. And that's when people start to fall apart. And we're going to see that. Believe it or not, we're going to see that. And things are going to get bad. But it's up to you to keep your head and keep moving forward. That's the bottom line. Don't crumble into a sniveling bitch. Don't do that. Stay strong and march forward. Because they want you to snivel, cry, and depend on them. They want you, when the chips are down, to look for governmental help and get your way out of that. They want you to be dependent on them so that you can be, I guess, indoctrinated into their system, which a lot of us already are, or all of us already are. But the system that they're going to release, they want you indoctrinated in that without batting an eyelash and without giving them shit. How do you do that? You create an issue and you come up with a solution. I promise you this is coming, and we're going to see it in our lifetime. We're going to see a gigantic, scary problem be created, and the government or the elites are going to swoop in and save us with their bullshit. They want you to keep your anxiety up. And the other thing with your anxiety being up all the time, you're always scared. You're always nervous. You're looking around the corner, peeking to see what's next. Because they turned you into a bitch. Your dick fell off, you grew a vagina, you're wearing a tampon, because now you're a full-fledged bitch. Other than that, this is the Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching.